I made a video about the rumors that Nintendo was considering changing the name of Wii U, and I'd just like to make a second video to say that I believe in the name Wii U. If Nintendo wants to change that, that's awesome. That's just one more thing to get excited about. But I believe in that name. And especially since they've announced they might change the name, I've just been seeing everywhere people just slamming on the name Wii U, just slamming on it, slamming on it, slamming on it. I'm like, you guys don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. This is basically the same. People said, "Oh, like the name sucks. No one's gonna want to play it. And it's just everyone's gonna make fun of it, and it doesn't reflect the nature of the system. And they should call it Nintendo Revolution." And the thing is, Nintendo once Nintendo grew the brand in the public consciousness, once we understood the full extent of what we had to offer, which was not clear at all when they first announced the name, and even right after E3, then it made more sense and it just entered common vernacular. And it's a household name now. Very strong brand. And people saying like, "Oh, Wii U, the name Wii U sucks." Even if I felt, I mean, it's just like, pretty much you don't know what Wii U is yet. Uh, Nintendo deliberately hasn't even revealed the full extent of what Wii U will entail, their full vision for it, its full feature set, the game selection. They haven't even aren't even going to show that for 129 more days as of when I'm filming this video. And during E3 when they like really like out it to everyone and reintroduce it. So really like the hardcore who follow game news haven't given the name a chance yet, and the mainstream market, like the softcore and the casual gamers, and a lot even a certain amount of the hardcore aren't even really going to hear about this or have this name communicated at them until it comes time for launch and Nintendo starts actually advertising it like out in public on television and such. And really, at this point, they haven't really advertised Wii U. They've announced it at E3 and they've released news of it to people who follow the news, but they haven't pushed this to the mainstream market yet. Amongst the people who play games, they haven't marketed this as something for people to buy yet. They've basically pitched this as an idea at this point. So I really think it's unfair to say that the name is bad, and even if it doesn't sound cool to you, and as the name, I believe you have to think Nintendo didn't just like, "Hey, let's put a U at the end of Wii and market it as that." No, they've sat down for weeks. They've had people from Japan, people from Europe, people from North America, all working together to come up with a new name for the system. You can trust that they've tried hundreds of different brands and made hundreds of different mock-up logos of how to sell this new system, and uh, they really put a lot of thought into the name before they just settled on Wii U. And the ironic thing is, if they choose to change the name, a lot of that, the perception is and probably a lot of the reality is, it's probably going to be to, if they choose to abandon the Wii brand, if they do rename it, they're going to, I think part of that, if they make that move, will be to reconcile the fact that Wii has sort of gained an unfavorable reputation with a lot of the same gamers they're trying to expand into, now expanding into the hardcore rather than out into the casual, as it's the Wii brand is unfortunately gaining an unfavorable reputation as a system only for novices and for party games and mini games, and not for anything more serious than that. Uh, but the thing is, if they do change the name at the same time, a lot of it's going to have to do with not confusing the casuals and the soccer moms who don't follow game news, who are going to possibly be easily confused if the name is too similar and the systems look too similar and seem too similar, to differentiate them. Uh, and another thing, if they do change the name, I would not mind if they change the name. If they change the name, the prospect of a name change has me really thrilled. Uh, because really, basically, what we've come to understand, even before even any rumors of name changes, that when at E3 2012, we're going to see a new face of Wii U. We're going to see it revealed to its full extent. Like, it's sort of like in E3 2005 where they just showed the Revolution prototype and it was just the black box with no guts in it and they really didn't talk much about the full extent of what it can do, besides hinting that the controller would be different. And then next year at E3 2006, they really revealed it, the full extent of the product. And I believe like maybe E3 2011 for Nintendo was kind of like that, where they just sort of teased it and sort of seeded, chummed the waters with the idea of this new system. And then at E3 2012, they're really going to reveal the true extent of what this will entail and their full vision for this new product. So, uh, as for me, I can't think of many more original names. I don't think it will be called Wii 2, be that the number 2 or written TUU or anything cutesy like that. I do not think it will be called Wii 2. Nintendo has never named a system, even if it's a successor system to an existing product, they never named it 2. I don't think it will be called the Super Wii. That just, if you think Wii U sounds dumb, Super Wii just sounds like completely dumb to me. Uh, really, the most original brand I could think of along the lines of what these rumors are and why Nintendo might want to change the name and who they're trying to reach with this new name and who they're trying to appeal to. I think, and the fact that we had rumors before E3 2011 and rumors that I've heard personally from firsthand sources that the Wii U, well, it's firsthand sources, like maybe not really, just stuff I've heard from people. I'm not really an insider. I don't have any secret information or anything like that. Just to clarify, uh, but saying that the system may look more like old, historical Nintendo systems like the NES and the Super NES or Super Famicom. So in that sense, I think a revival of the Nintendo Entertainment System brand might be a strong choice. And along those lines, I've made a few mock-up logos of what a modern revival of the NES logo might be like. Now here's one version I made with the Nintendo logo slightly bigger than the rest of the text. Then I made a version with all the text the same, which of the same size, which is sort of similar to the original NES branding back in the 80s. And I also, but the text is all uniform, but I think it looks a little bit better with the Nintendo being bigger because Nintendo's going to want to emphasize that part. The font I used for the inside the box is actually the same font they use for the Wii logo now. So it's using the font from the NES and the font from the Wii. So there's sort of that dual sort of recognition, sort of blending those two ideas into one. I also had some red logos I made of the same things. Red looking more nostalgic, looking more like the original NES logo, but very, very much more implausible. Pretty much, Nintendo doesn't even use red for their iconic racetrack logo anymore. Now that logo is always rendered in gray, so red logo very unlikely. That's my idea of how they might rebrand the Wii if they choose to change the name. I know it's admittedly unoriginal, uninspired on my behalf, pretty much just a nostalgic fantasy. But who knows? At this point, I'm pretty much casting all my expectations to the wind with the news that's come out in the last week and the news that's been hinted at by developers working on Wii U, the comparisons that are being drawn with the Xbox 720, I really have I just have no expectations anymore for what we're going to see through 2012, except for I expect to be enormously surprised. So uh, that's what I have to say about. That's what more I have to say about possible Wii U name change. Thank you very much for watching.